Hey, hi everyone. So in this recording, we'll be discussing about text formatters in HTML over here. That's nothing but basically we can just go and make our contents bold or italicized or highlighted and different types of formattings accordingly. Okay, so we do see like when we go to any sort of web pages or web application, we'll be having some headings, subheadings, certain amount of content on the screen, correct? And followed by we'll be having some contents which will be italicized, bolded out, or deleted it out, or we'll be having an inserted like structure, something to the top of something else, right? Or something to the base of some characters over there. Let's say log to the base E or 2 to the power 4, and many different types of formattings will be present on the screen, right? So in order to understand what all formatters we'll be having in HTML, so let's get started with this particular recording over here. So right now I created a file name with a name called as textformatters.html, and we do know in order to get a basic boilerplate, I can just hit on shift followed by not symbol, and with the help of this emit abbreviation, I can get a basic boilerplate over here. Nor we can just go with one more abbreviation. You can directly write with HTML and go with the HTML5 version over here. See, even now we'll get the same boilerplate over here. So for the title, I would like to just copy and write the title name as text formatters over here. So let's save the file, and in order to see the output, I will just right click on my file name over here and let's copy that particular path over here. So now let's just paste that particular link over here and I will start hit on enter over here. So here we go, we just got output on the screen. So we can see the tab name is nothing but our text formatters, the one what we wrote in the title over there. At the same point of time, I pasted the same location over here. It's present in eDiv, where we have a folder called web development with a file name called as text formatters over there. And our screen is totally blank as of now. The very reason, because we don't have anything wrapped up in our body tag in the HTML. That's the reason it's totally a blank screen as of now. Okay, so let's just go back to editor and let's start adding certain contents on the screen over here. So I will just enter within my body tag over here. So I will just create certain amount of heading tags in our screen here. So if I just hit on H over here, we can see we totally have 6 different types of heading tags here, right? That's nothing but H1, H2, H3, H4, and H5 and H6 different types of heading tags on the screen over here. So you can just go and hit on any one as of now. Let's just say H1, and I will just write a content called as hello world on the screen. Okay, let's save, and I will just go back to my output over here. So if we can see, we just got our output. In order to get the output, I will just go and hit on refresh over here. And if I just go all the way over here, we can see we just got hello world on our screen accordingly. That's nothing but we got the contents with a good font size, followed by it's been bolded over here, correct? Why? Because headings always have the contents in a bolded characters, followed by will be having some good height over there, correct? So now in a similar way, let's see what are these H2, H3 and H4 and so on accordingly. Okay, so we'll just go and write all those particular tags in order to understand how exactly these tags differ from each other. Okay, so basically if I just use H1 as a main heading, we can use any one of these particular one as a subheadings in our screen here. So I will just go ahead here, and in order to write the contents in all these particular lines in a single go, so I will just select at certain cursor position over here, and I will hit on a shortcut called as Control plus Alt plus followed by down key over here. So I will hit on a shortcut called as Control plus Alt plus down key in my screen over here. So now I just write the same contents here. Let's say I want to write hello world only, and I will just save my output over here. So let's go back to our outputs over here. So in order to that, I'll just go back to my browser and let's refresh over here. So we can see we got all those 6 heading tags over here. Now, what's the difference between H1, H2, H3 and so on here, right? If we can see all these heading tags has been bolded out, correct? All the heading tags are having a good amount of bold on the screen. That's nothing but the contents are bolded on our screen, correct? At the same point of time, if I go with the font size over here, H1 has the highest font size when compared to any other tags. Similarly, H6 has the lowest font size when compared to any other tags over here. So in general, we can come to a common conclusion here. The font size keeps on decreasing as we move from H1 towards H6 over here. So that's something about your heading tags over here. Again, we can use as many number of times we want this particular tag. There is no constraint saying you can use H1 only for once or H2 only for once or twice. No, you can use it as for as many number of times it's required in your application. So that's totally a freedom what we have in our HTML over here. Correct. In a similar way, we do also see certain contents on the screen, right? We do also see certain contents on the screen. Correct. So for that, let's just go and understand how I can get some good amount of contents. Okay, so let's go with some good example only. So for that, I will just go to my Wikipedia and let's say we want to search something. Okay, let's say I'll go to my Wikipedia and we'll search for something. Let's say I want to get some information about data science over here. Okay, so I just say I want to get to know more about data science over here. See, we right now we have a heading tag here, so I can just call it as a main heading. So I can go with H1 or so on. And similarly, we have certain amount of contents over here, right? We do have certain amount of contents over here. And in order to get this particular contents, we'll be having a tag called as paragraph here. See, again, we have a subheading over here. So for this, I can go with H2 or H3 accordingly. Similarly, we have some more subheadings over here and so on. We'll be having different amount of tags on the screen here. So now let's just go in order to get this dummy contents, right? In order to get this contents over here, for this thing, we'll be using our paragraph over here. So for that, I will just say p tag. That's nothing but in order to get some contents, I can just say hello everyone. This is a paragraph tag here, right? And now I'll just say this particular one and let's go back to output and I will just go to my screen. Let's refresh our contents here. See, we just got a paragraph tag accordingly. Now, if we can see here, we just got a paragraph contents, right? But what if I want to have some good amount of content on the screen and I don't want to write it manually? In that case, we do have our lorem ipsum over here. So I can just go and write something called lorem. We can see it's an emit abbreviation again, where lorem ipsum is we get some certain amount of dummy contents on the screen. Okay, that's nothing but it will generate some random words on our screen over here. So if I just say lorem and if I hit on enter, see we just got certain amount of dummy words or dummy statements on our screen here. So now if I just go back to my output and if I reload my application over here, see we just got that entire output on our screen here. Correct? That's nothing but the entire paragraph tag. Similarly, we can even restrict for how many number of words we wish. Let's say I don't want random number of words. I only wish only 5 words on my screen. So I can just say lorem followed by 5 and then hit on enter over there. See, we just got only 5 different words on the screen here. Again, same thing, you can just say this particular one, go back to your browser and refresh. See, we just got only 5 different types of words on our screen here. In a similar way, let's say if you want to have some 10 more words. Okay, let's say I want to have 10 more words. So I just say lorem followed by 10 here. So in this way, we can have any amount of dummy characters on the screen here. Okay, so in this way, we can have any amount of dummy characters on the screen. In general, lorem will always gonna generate certain amount of random words on our screen. Okay, so let's go back right now to output and let's just go back to the Wikipedia only. So we can see we have certain contents here, right? Let's say I want to create the same kind of UI. Okay, so this is a very simple UI right now. Let's say we want to create a similar kind of UI. The very first thing I want a heading here, right? So for that, I just copy this thing and let's go back to my browser. I will just comment all this particular one. In order to comment, I will just select all this thing and followed by a shortcut called as Control plus / to comment this particular line. So now if I save and if I go back to my output and if I reload, see we don't have any of those contents on the screen here. Correct? Now let's come back and let's say I want a particular keyword called as data science. For that, I will just go with the H1 heading over here, followed by let's paste that particular data science on the screen here. And now if I just go back and if I reload, we got data science accordingly, perfectly fine. Followed by, let's ignore these things. For this, we need to get our navigation bar as of now. Next thing, we have something called a small amount of content here, right? For this, I will just use a I will just use a paragraph tag over here. So I will just copy that and for that, I will just say paragraph followed by this particular content on the screen. Okay, before that, we have a horizontal line here, right? See, we have a horizontal line. In order to get this, we can just go and have a tag called as HR over here, where HR is nothing but our horizontal rule tag over here. It will always generate a simple straight horizontal line. And it's a blank tag, that's nothing but will not have any contents to show on the screen. It will be always a self-closing tag only. So now if I just go back to my output and if I just reload over here, even we ended with a straight horizontal line here. See, it's all because of your HR tag over there. And now let's come back and let's say I want to have this particular one again. So for this, I will just copy this again and I just go with a paragraph tag over here. So let's say I want one more paragraph over here and I just paste this particular contents. Let's go back again and we do have these many number of words here, right? So for that, I will just copy all of these things on the screen here. So let's say I want to copy these 2 paragraphs over here. And now I'll just go back here. Let's say I want to write this particular in a single paragraph as of now. Okay, so now if I just save this particular one and if I just go back to my output show over here, let's refresh our page and we can see we just got those contents, right? But again, there was a catch over here. After unstructured data, right, we had a break of line over there, right? We had a line break over there, correct? But right now in our case, after that unstructured data, after this two over here, we don't have a break line over here, right? Why? Maybe we can think, okay, we did not give any line break over here. So let's go and I just give some line breaks over here. So I just kept it on the next line and then let's say, and if I just go back and if I reload, is it line break appearing on the screen? Obviously no, right? Then how do we get that particular line break? In order to get the line break, we do have a tag called as BR over here, where BR stands for break line. So now again, it's a self-closing tag. So if I just say BR, it will generate a line break on the screen here. So let's go and if I refresh here, see, we just got that particular contents on it. Next line over here, correct? Again, let's say if you want one more line break, if you want to have some good amount of line breaks, so for that you can just go and you can write again one more time BR on the editor. So now let's back and I will just go back to my output over here and let's refresh and if you can see we got two different line breaks accordingly, looking perfectly fine. So let's say I want to have some more contents on the screen, so I will just copy all of these particular things on the screen here. Let's copy this and I will just come back to my output over here. Let's say I will just go with the paragraph tag and I will just paste all those contents on the screen here. So let's go back and it looks more similar to our Wikipedia page. Okay, again, we don't have any sort of styles as of now, but that's totally fine. We are trying to clone this particular Wikipedia. Okay, so now if we can see the very first content over here, the data science is been in a bolded character, right? It's been in a bold character over here. So how can we make certain contents bold here? Let's say I want to make this data science in a bold characters or bolded word over here. So for that, I can just go back to my browser and we do have a tag over here called as B tag, where B stands for bold over here. So now I can just copy this particular one and I will just say I want to wrap these many words in order to get bold here. So you can just wrap any number of words which needs to be bolded out over here. So where I am saying right now, these two words called data science, which is wrapped between this opening B followed by closing B, should be bolded out on the screen. So now if I just go back to my output and if I refresh over here, see, data science just got bolded out on the screen accordingly. Correct, data science just got bolded out on the screen accordingly. In a similar way, let's say if I want this particular one, okay, so we can see from Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia, it's much more looking like tilted over here, right? In the sense, italicized over here. So how can I get that particular contents italicized? For italics, we do have a tag called as I tag over here. So for that, I will just go ahead here and I will just say I and then wrap all those words which needs to be italicized over here. And please do remember the way where I'm opening and closing the tag is in a proper order here. See, the very first one we opened a paragraph tag and nextly we opened an italize. So italize should be the very first tag which needs to be closed followed by paragraph tag over here. Okay, so now if I just go back to my output and if I just refresh my application over here, see, it just got tilted out accordingly on the screen. Correct, that's how we can just go and make our contents italicized as well. Similarly, if we can see here, we have this particular one in the uppercase, right? I mean, not in uppercase, in something to the super case over here, right? Like we have this particular one on the top of the current contents over here. So how is this possible? It's all possible with the help of a tag called as SUP over here, where SUP stands for something called a superscript over here. So now I can just go ahead here, let's say SUP, and I will just wrap that particular contents which needs to be present on the top of those particular characters. So now if I just save this particular one and if I go back to my output, let's refresh over here. See, we just got that one on the top of this particular current contents. It's all possible with the help of our SUP tag called as superscript tag over here. Similarly, okay, let's say we have one more thing. Let's say we have a chemical equation here. So for that, I will just write a paragraph tag. Let's say I want to write something called H2 plus O2 equals, let's say H2 plus O equals H2O over here. Okay, so let's go back and let's see how exactly it's looking on our UI right now. So I just refresh the page over here. See, we just got H2 plus O is equals to H2O, but right now it's not looking exactly like the 2 is not on the base. Similarly, this 2 again is not in the base over here, right? So how can I get this to the base over here? For that, we have a tag called as sub over here. Okay, so where sub stands for subscript over here. So I will just say we have a tag called as sub. So I will just wrap what all contents need to come on the bottom case over here. Similarly, I want this to on the sup over here. That's nothing but not sup, my bad, it should be sub. Okay, subscript. Sup stands for superscript, whereas sub stands for subscript over here. So I just copy this thing and let's paste it over here. So now if I just go back to my outputs and if I just refresh this particular page over here, see, we just got it in a much clearer way, right? H2 plus O is equals to H2O. Correct. Similarly, let's say I want to write something called log to the base, or let's say log to the, let's not say log. Okay, we can go with log as well. So let's go with log to the base E. Same thing. So I can, in order to get this log to the base E, and let's say we want one more thing called as 2 to the power 4. Okay, let's say I want to get something called 2 to the power 4 over here. So let's say 2 to the power 4, not 2 to the power 4 over here. Okay, so if I just go back and if I refresh my page over here, so we just got log to the base E, but it's not looking exactly like base. So for that, I can just come back over here. So I can use a tag again sub, and I can wrap that particular E within this sub tag over here. Similarly, for this 4, I can just go and I can just say we have a tag called as sup. So I can just wrap that particular 4 within this sup tag in order to get on the top of the screen here. So now if I just go back and if I refresh my application here, see, we just got log to the base E. Similarly, we also got 2 to the power 4 as expected on the screen here. Correct. That's how we can just go and we can get certain amount of contents on the screen here. Similarly, again, ignore about these hyperlinks and all these things. We haven't covered about the tag. So we do have a tag called as a tag, with the help of which you can get this particular contents. We'll come back to those things in some time and so on. Okay, we'll just go and discuss other tags as well. So let's say I want to go back to my output over here, and let's say I want to highlight this particular scientific computing over here. So I want to highlight this particular contents over here. So how is it possible? So for that, we do have a tag called as mark over here. So let's say I want to highlight something called as scientific computing, right? So I want to highlight these two particular words. So for that, we do have a tag called as a mark over here. So I can just say mark. Let's say we do have a tag called as a mark over here, with the help of which you can just highlight certain amount of words. You can highlight as many number of words. As of now, I am highlighting only 2 words over here. So let's say, and now if I just go back and if I refresh my application here, see, we just got scientific computing in a highlighted way over here. Correct, we just got it in a highlighted way over here. Similarly, if we can see, we have something called scientific methods here, right? Let's say I want to remove this particular keyword called scientific. I want to strike out on this particular word called as scientific. How is it possible in order to strike out this word called as scientific over here? So for that, we do have a tag called as del over here, which indicates it's a deleted text over there. Okay, so for that, I will just say del. Let's say, and I will just wrap as many number of words. In this case, I just only want to wrap one word over here. So now if I just go ahead here and if I refresh, you can see the scientific word just got a line on the top of that particular one, right? Indicating this line is been deleted. It's just been striked out on our screen as of now. Correct? So that's how we can just go and get some different types of tags on the screen here. Similarly, we have something called small tag in order to get some small amount of contents on the screen. That's nothing but if you want certain contents in a smaller font, you can go with a small tag. Similarly, we have something called ins tag for inserted. We do have other tags, like we have something called strong tag, which is in totally in similar way, like what our bold does. In a similar way, we do have a strong tag as well. In a similar way, the way how we have I tag, we also have something called en tag over there. So where em stands for emphasize over there. Again, if you can see, if you hover on any of this particular tag, we get a reference for MDN over here. So where MDN stands for our developers Mozilla site. Okay, so you can just hover on this thing and click on that particular one in order to get much more insights about that particular any sort of tag over there. Okay, so you can directly go back to your browser and start searching for that particular developers Mozilla site over there. So if we can see, I just went to my browser and hit it on MDN Mozilla Developers Network over here, and if I just click on this particular one, it will give total clear picture for all of those particular tags over here, guys. Okay, so let's say I want to know more about strong tag over here. So I will just say strong over here and let's hit on enter. See, this is a strong tag. And if I just go ahead here, it will just teach you like what is the strong importance of the strong tag over here. And similarly, we have different types of all the tags on the left side over here. See, in order to get some contents bolded, if you guys can see on the right hand side, certain contents is been bolded, right, which is been wrapped under this strong tag only. See, never feed him after midnight. So this thing is being bolded out here because it's been wrapped up in a strong tag over here. Similarly, if we just go and you can see we have something called bold. Now the question comes, bold and strong both are used to get certain contents bolded out. Then what exactly is the difference between bold and strong, right? There is no much difference when it comes to the UI level, but strong we basically use in order to give certain importance for the word over there. Whereas bold, it's just to bold that particular content. Okay, you can just read this particular one in order to get some more clear picture. Similarly, we have something called emphasize. So again, EM for italize as well. So with the help of that, you can just go and italize certain keywords as well over here. And one more thing, the question comes, can we have more than one different types of text formatters for a same word? Let's say here we have something called data science also integrates domain knowledge, right? Let's say I want to highlight this thing. At the same time, I also want to make this particular one bolded. Is it possible? Yes, it's possible. So I'll just go back here. So let's say I want to make this thing bolded firstly. So I want to bold this entire line. Okay, let's say I want to bold this entire line over here. So for that, I will just go ahead here. Let's say we do have a tag called B. So I will just say we do have a tag called B over here. And I will just bold all these contents over here. So let's say I want to bold all these contents. Let's say, and now I'll just go back to my output over here. So let's refresh. And if you can see, we just got a particular word in a bolded way. Okay, pretty good. Now I also want a particular bold to be highlighted. So for that, I will just go ahead here and I will just say mark tag again. So I will just say we need a tag called mark over here, but please make a note over here. So what's the note over here? So if you can see, the first tag which we are opening here is the mark. So mark should be the first tag which needs to be closed. If we change the location over here, then it won't work as expected over UI level. Okay, so let's go back and if I refresh here, see the content is being bolded, at the same time it's being highlighted as well. Similarly, if you want to underline all these particular words, so in order to underline, we do have a tag called as U over here. So let's say U tag in order to underline. Again, U is the first tag which is getting opened here. So U should be the first tag which is getting closed over here. So now if I just go back and if I refresh my application, you can see all those contents as got an underline as well. Correct? That's how we can just go and we can make our text formatted over here. Okay, so in this video, we just had a quick tour about the different types of text formatters, what we have in our HTML. And we also got to know about our different types of heading tags followed by the paragraph tag. We also understood about our lorem ipsum, with the help of which we can generate certain amount of random words on the screen over here. So that's it for in this recording about text formatters in HTML over here.